We're live.
All right, we are live, and let's do that. Let's do the Wayne's World count and 5, 4, 3. Hey guys, welcome to Pentool Pals, a friendly podcast between two graphic designers. My name is Canvas Cam from Canvas Design Company.
I'm Cole from Cole F Design. Thanks for joining us. Follow along on our Instagram account as we give you shareable content every week about our day-to-day lives, insight into tips and tricks and content, and become a pal of the pod. Like me and Cam, we're pals. We found each other both on Instagram, and this is kind of the birth of that, talking about graphic design and just hanging out and shooting the shit.
It all started from having one nightmare client. Client, baby. And I was like, hey man, watch out. And this was born.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that we got a lot of fun stuff to talk to you guys about throughout these chats that me and Cam are gonna have, and I think that you guys are gonna be really stoked. So Cam, you want to tell us a little bit about what we're gonna be talking about throughout the channel and Pentool Pals as a whole?
So Cole and I, when we first started talking about starting a podcast, we wanted to talk about things that a lot of graphic designers aren't necessarily talking about every day. I know that when I first started doing graphic design, I needed to know, and I could have used useful information. Something as simple as how to, build out something in Illustrator, or a secret that most graphic designers won't tell you. When building something, it's not cheating. If a line segment doesn't meet the other line segment, it's not smooth. It's okay to build an object to fill that gap. Stuff like that would have been useful. And so I wanted to, talk to Cole about things like that, so that young aspiring graphic designers can learn and know that what we went through to get kind of where we're at. We went through the same things you're going through, the same growing pains, the same hiccups, the same, we're going through the same imposter syndrome that you do. Like, hell, this week has been hell for me because I'm confused about how I'm going to build out certain designs. And I'm thinking, oh, can I really do this for the rest of my life? And of course I can. Stop being a baby and just know that you can do the damn design. But anyway, that's all hearsay. How was your week, Cole?
For sure. Yeah, I think that this has been super fun and has grown to just starting this podcast with you from a simple DM asking about a client that we both had, and we started shooting the shit about stuff that I didn't necessarily talk about because I didn't have another graphic designer that would relate to something that we're going through, and to be able to social network and talk about similar things and how we're both building out designs, having clients, like all the madness that comes with it, and also just tips and tricks so that we're each doing better design and helping anyone that comes along. I think that's all part of the community that's being built on Instagram and all fun stuff here, right? Yeah,
totally, man. I will say, and this is the first time that I've probably vocalized this, I think since having conversation with you and networking with you and sharing ideas, I think this is the first time that I've actually, grown as a designer. And I've grown a lot in the last years, but there's something about having conversation with your fellow designer, your fellow creative, that really makes things exciting. And I think that's another base of why I wanted to do this with you so much, is that, for the first time since I left my day job, I have been able to, share my stuff with another creative to get his legit, advice on things.
Yeah.
And I think that's, useful for any graphic designer, any artist, is to have that networking community, that friendship with someone who does the same thing. About what you do. None of my friends give a shit about what I do. They don't understand the culture behind it and why I'm so passionate about it. They don't understand why I spend like 40 bucks on a book and 50
Shout out to
bucks on a
Lincoln
book
Design Co.
that
Jeff
has
Lynn. Who else is in there?
and John Contino, brand by hand. But it's like they don't understand why I just embed my brain with all of this knowledge, but you do.
Mhm.
And so that's what makes it exciting. And I think designing is exciting again for me. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be doing Pentool Pals.
Being a pal of the
Pentool Pals,
pod, exactly.
Pal of the pod, man.
Maybe you watching, like, we'll bring people on with similar, ideas and aspirations, and we can go through and do like portfolio reviews. We can chat about what they're going through. We want this to be a friendly community of graphic designers where everyone's talking about everything. We're an open book here at Pentool Pals, and the more pals of the pod, the bigger the ship. I don't think that's how I don't think that's
and what other podcast do you know that starts right out the gate with such great graphics? You know why? Because we're graphic designers.
That's exactly right.
We're not podcasters.
As you can tell, we're not podcast people. We
have
we can look great while
video
doing
editing knowledge. Yeah, exactly. All right, cool, man. Well, hey, tell me about your week. What'd you work on this week?
Yeah, I think that another, a part of this all will just be sharing about what we do on a weekly basis. And I think that it'd be great to show you guys a little bit about what we work on and what clients we've been working with, and some of the great ones, some of the bad ones. We'll never let you know which one's which, but
yeah.
But I had an awesome client come in. We've worked a few times together, and he always comes up with the best ideas for logos, which always just makes it really fun. You never know when he's gonna text me with a new idea and a new concept. But when you provide some sort of idea that is so straightforward, but yet gives me so much ability to have some creative freedom and range on what I'm able to provide, just makes it awesome and fun. So he came in and wanting a 420 themed magic show with a bunny coming out of a top hat, a magician's hat, smoking a joint. And I was like, that is a great idea. Let's get started. He's not seen these designs yet, but he probably will by the time that this is released. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. I don't know what your do you have like a sheet like this where you put your logo at the bottom, Cam, and you're like a disclaimer?
So no, I don't have a disclaimer, but I will steal that from you. Steal like an artist, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I don't, but I do have like a presentation like this where my logo is at the front. Usually their logos, and it's a new logo, so it'll be smack dab on the cover, just kind of show them right off the gate. But I do like the way that you have this, your cover.
I remade this. I actually was looking at a couple other designers when they were sharing some of their portfolios. I used to have it horizontal and they had it vertical. This is a big change for me. I like it. A lot more white space. And I think that when we go through it, being able to have a bigger space throughout the design is just kind of key in letting people decide about changes and how they feel about the graphic interface. But the exploration was to provide 2 to 3 designs and in some colorways and how that would look. So off the bat,
dude, that is so fucking great. That is killer, man.
Thank you. Really fun idea, and that allows for so much creative freedom to, this was the first where I wanted to present something with a white background. I normally present in black and white first, but I just thought that the only way for this to really scream 420 was going to be with red eyes and green type.
Yeah,
So
totally.
and that was within the brief too. So I wanted to present that right away without doing it in black and white. And I think that some of these details, you know, having the two-tone and the shadow and the teeth, right? I think these are all things that would have gotten lost with just black and white,
Yeah,
the color
totally.
of the smoke. So
Now, are you using smooth lines? It's
no, I'm using the pen tool for most of it, but is the smooth lines what Mighty Short uses?
yeah.
No, I never bought that. I use a lot
I
of
bought it. Go on.
I use a lot of the around, like, let's say for this, for example, I have around my segment, my line segment, right? So it has the circle at the end of it,
Yeah.
and then I shrink it with the width tool, so that way it comes to like a nice rounded point.
So you put a little circle at the end, and you just line it up with the edges.
There's a setting in the width in the stroke.
Oh,
that you can make the lines, instead of it being squared, you can make it circle.
really? Okay, I never knew that.
I'll show you that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Super simple. Like you can also make them dashed lines. You can make them bigger or smaller, and thicker. So
yeah,
when it comes to like this, it already comes rounded, and then I just thicken it out here.
Gotcha. I see a little line kind of passing through. Go back to that ear.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah, sticking out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All good. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, definitely. No, of course this is like preliminary. Like
for sure.
There's still like lines here that need to be cleaned up. But
for sure,
when it comes to like looking at this design as a whole, I think that it's important just to get the why focus on the minute details if it's gonna be scrapped later. But to present to the client, I think that this is more than dialed,
Yeah.
But I want to provide a couple of colorways. So I gave them 2 colorways per design, 2 designs total. So this one was just to have like a green bunny. I think purple kind of screams magic. Also like midnight. And here's just
that's cool.
Another one just with the gray. And that's option 1. But option 2 is just more of like the dead on bunny.
Oh, I love it. Dude. He looks high as shit.
Yeah.
Hell
so
yeah,
I think that hitting the high factor was definitely there on this design. He also has that green stench of like weed coming off of him, which is like he's just reeking in the weed. He just loves it. So this one, obviously 2 different kind of bunnies here, but same theme, same thing. Just depends what he likes. We'll see, right?
Yeah.
So again, offered 2 different variations of colorways.
Yeah.
And I just end it with a thank you, and we'll see how it goes. Usually I'll expect around 1 to 2 rounds of changes, and
of course,
whatever those are, it's basically in the client's hand. But how do you deal with client revisions, and do you give them a specific amount of revisions, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I try to get the sketches done beforehand before I start inking everything. But when they ask, I usually don't try to tell them how many revisions they get, because I've noticed that's kind of a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure for them, and it's also a lot of pressure for you. And so if I can get it the first round, I will. So I'll show them sketches, but I do tell them after the first one, okay, so you have 2 free revisions. This is your first one. But yeah,
so 2 free revisions, right? So do you charge after a certain round?
I charge after the second revision. So if I send it and they send back, okay, for example, I have another revision that I have to make on a current design. I just got the email this morning. So I sent the design, and he wanted some changes. So then I told him, I was like, okay, this is your first revision out of your two free ones. You're after anything after the next one will have to charge. So I'm going to be doing a second revision now, and I'll tell him in the response email, the next one I'll probably have to charge you a little bit extra because we're still working on this. I don't like to do revision costs. If I can, I'm one of those people where it's like I want return clients, and some people, they don't care about if it takes a little bit more money, to get their design perfect, they'll more than gladly pay. In my case, like I have more people going, I'm gonna charge more.
Yeah.
It's happened a few times to where it's like they don't mind, but majority of the people who've come to me that I've had to do revisions for and charge, they're not happy about it, because then they look at it
Yeah.
they look at it as if I didn't do my job.
Right. I think that's the
And
hardest position to be in.
yeah, and I look at it as I gave you my best at the beginning. You don't like something, like, so there's a project I'm working on right now, and man, I sent it off and it was beautiful. This logo is a mountain logo, and man, it was awesome. I took some stuff, some ideas, some Draplin ideas, and I mixed it with my own, and it looked awesome. And the guy came back and said, no, I don't like that. And I dialed it back and I did the changes that he wanted. And then this morning I get an email and he doesn't like it still. He likes the bottom half, which is reference to a photo of his. Of course, he's going to like that part. But he doesn't like the new things that I put into it. And he's talking about like this, certain things. I won't give away too much information, but it's like, how do I please you? Like, I'm doing my best work on this. And he's saying in the email, he fully recognizes that he's being a pain. Well, if you recognize that you're being a pain, why don't you trust your artist a little bit more? Like,
yeah, tough,
I told him in the first email after he asked for the first revision, I was like, I very rarely call my work beautiful. And I told him this is a beautiful logo that we've put together. He asked for the revision, and I just flat out told him, I was like, I can't say that I'm not disappointed about this, but it's your logo. We got to make you happy. You're the one that I want to be the most proud of this. So let's keep going.
Let's talk a little bit more about your process. So you were saying that you go pen to paper first before you go digital. Is that correct? So you do sketches before you go into vector.
I'll do sketches first.
If you're able to share.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I've got my little handy dandy notebook right here.
But yeah, how refined are your sketches?
Pretty refined. It's a hit or miss. So for logo work, I will almost always draw it out first. So for example, this will probably not pick up. So for example, I do just a bunch of sketches first, and then I'll share with the client, what sketches I have, and I tell them what are my favorite and what are my not so favorite. And then we'll kind of narrow it down. For this job, this little guy right here was the winner, and we just move forward with doing that. Now with illustration jobs, what I'll do, I feel like drawing on paper is a lot more freeing than being able to draw on like my iPad. Even though drawing in Procreate is a lot more freeing and stuff, I just basically get a loose idea for illustration, because like paper, I can just flip to the next page. For the job that I just did, which we're going to show in a little bit, I sketched out an entire branding kit on here of just very loose shapes, badges,
Nice.
beach illustrations and stuff. Let's see how far I can move this into the middle. There we go.
Perfect.
And so I basically mapped out an entire branding kit and then just moved on to Procreate for some things. But then for the majority of it, it was just I dropped in the pictures of this sketch built on top with Illustrator. The badges I just freehanded, all the type and lockups and stuff. But it worked out pretty good. And
yeah, let's check out from your refined sketches to, what do you present to your client, and how does that process work?
Let's do it. So, okay, I see it? Can you see it?
Yeah.
So this is how I'm starting to present branding kits and brand guides and stuff.
Nice.
So the cover photo, this is a new Mr. Clamato branding kit, new logo for their restaurant. What I did is I showed a before and an after.
This is
and
awesome.
I just kind of explained
being able to see what they had versus what you created, and you definitely put your own spin on this. It's pretty epic.
Definitely. And I told him when I sat down with him, it's very rare that I get to sit down with a client because I don't really do a lot of stuff for people in my town. But I just told him, like, I want to recreate your logo. I kind of did this pro bono. The branding kit I got paid for, but I told him, like, I see so much potential in your logo. If you will allow me to, I would love to just kind of revamp your logo. And he loved it. He told me beforehand, he was like, I don't know how people are going to feel. Like, it's up on billboards and it's up on this and that. But then the moment he saw this, he was like, dude, I love it. I love it. So for these two, I basically just showed him what he had before and what he has now. And that's just builds, that trust a little bit more, seeing in front of you, like, hey, I basically ironed out all the things that was making your logo beforehand look a little amateurish. And I basically just told him at the bottom, you can read, it feels like clip art. It feels like, what we were doing in elementary school, kind of throwing into PowerPoint and stuff. So from here, I basically put it into typesets. I was like, this is how it can work with a new type, cursive type, solo and solid. So in the package, he can use the logo by itself, the little tomato, and he can also use the type by itself.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I think that's useful tools because, like, I would much rather give the client more than they ask for. Even if it's super easy for me just to export out this, this graphic or set it aside so they can easily clip it out, they won't come back to me later asking for it. And so
what'd you use for some of these textures? Did you make the textures? Did you use a brush or
that's a good question. It's a True Grit Vector Savior. True Grit Texture Supply, check them out. They honestly saved my life. Like whether it's Procreate or Photoshop or and even Illustrator, like, I've always loved halftones, and I've been trying to figure out halftones forever. And it's so funny that you don't think about buying tools when you're younger. One, you don't have the money to, but really you don't know that they exist. So once I found True Grit Texture Supply, man, my work just went up. And it's something about adding texture to things that adds so much more depth. Another little illustration graphics that I gave him.
I love that one in the green.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to do a very simple beach themed stuff for him, but also something that represents his business a little bit. They sell seafood and their biggest thing is their micheladas. So I wanted to really lean into like the seafood part of it. The shrimp is the familiar thing in every graphic. It's a simple thing,
Yep.
but it's the thing that's connecting the tissue between every single graphic. And I think that's what makes a branding kit. Something familiar that the company can use that really ties in everything, that stitches it all together. So always salty. I just thought, hey, this could work because micheladas are meant to be salty beverages. So and it worked for him. He loved it. From there, here's the badge lockups. So I just kind of wanted to throw, if there's something at him that he can use across the board. I didn't want him to be at the end of it. I didn't want him to be lost, but I didn't want him to be like, oh, man, I wish I had a little bit more. So I just, took a little bit extra time. And here's the thing, it's like most designers, they don't want to give extra. I would much rather give extra. So one, I don't have to hear any complaints later on, but also I want the client to be happy with what they got. And majority of it, I don't want to hear from them for a little bit until they have a brand new graphic idea that they're willing to pay me for. I would much rather hand off something that they're going to be using for like a year or two.
Yeah, these are awesome, Cam.
So yeah, and I look at it this way. It's like whatever I make for them, I'm just going to throw it in the kit because you never know when they're going to want to use it.
It's a great pattern.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, it's something about, showing, again, going above and beyond and making just patterns and stuff. Because if it's a branding kit, you want to give them stuff that they can use for print, web, social media. You never know when you're going to see these things pop up.
Yeah. I think that there's also projects that we ourselves get as a designer get really excited about. And when that happens, we're like, I just want to see this, right? I just want to see this pattern. I think I can make a really cool job. And here you go. Like, if you like it, great. If you don't, no worries. Like, if anything, I'll post it on social just because I liked it. And
yeah, of course,
I'll be happy at the end of the day too. But for any designer to put in their full effort to every logo that they propose, because at the end of the day, these logos aren't just for the client, they are for your own personal portfolio. And if you're able to just like nail a bunch of logos that may never see the light of day in a company's brand, but you could see that in your own portfolio and what you're able to show off on social, I think that's definitely a big win.
I like to include all the colors that I use, even if the bottom one is pink. I only used it one time, and it was for that shrimp. But I give all of the color options to the client so that if they're building a website or they want to update their website, they have the whole entire color scheme to go off of. But also, these people are going to be handing it off to their printers as well. And they're going to be able to decipher what the hex code is to the Pantone color. Really, really easy.
Yep.
Also like to give them the option to go buy their font. I don't send fonts unless I get them for free. If I get them for free, I'm a little bit more loose about it. But these are two fonts that I bought myself. And so I'm completely open to telling them where to go if they want to buy it. But I throw that option in there as well, just to kind of show them like, okay, this is the perfect font for your website if you want to go forward and use it. So just yesterday, I had someone email, or no, it was this morning. They emailed me asking me what the font was for a logo that they just that I did for them last year. They're just now building out their website and they want to brand it. So boom, there it is. And then thank you. My own little tag at the end. So
this is epic, man.
Thank you, man. It
just seems like such a fun project in general.
It was super fun, man. Victor at Mr. Clamato, he was super like understanding of the timeline, which was great. A lot of people want their logo, their branding, their graphics like right away. And, just for someone as busy as us, it just doesn't happen that way. You got to schedule them in. And so he was super understanding. He was super chill. I went to meet with him right before I got started. Got a way better brief than what we were DMing about. And yeah, dude, it was cool. Like the inspiration behind it was like surfer skate beach vibe. And I meets like Mexican restaurant. And I was like, boom, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome.
It's amazing just how saying three sentences, three different directions can really pinpoint you into knowing exactly what you're doing. There were no revisions to this except for changing a little bit of type at the bottom. Other than that, he said every graphic was exactly what he wanted and more. That's and great. I think that's the open communication with your clients. Yeah. Oh, it was nothing. I was nervous. I was legit nervous. I was like, what if he doesn't like this always salty graphic or all this stuff? And I just said, hey, the worst that's going to happen is he's just going to cut this graphic, say he doesn't like it, and he likes the rest, or, vice versa. And, not one was denied. So.
Well, awesome, man.
All right, guys, that is it for the first episode of Pentool Pals, titled Hey Pals, because it's our first one. Thank you guys for watching. If you could do us a big favor and just share onto your Instagram stories, build some traction over here, and that'd be a big help for us.
Yeah, and be a pal of the pod. Throw us a follow, throw us a like, throw us a share, bookmark it, do all those things. I feel like I'm a YouTube influencer saying like smash the subscribe button, but this will all be on Instagram. We're super excited to share with you guys each week and talk more about graphic design and what me and Cam are up to, and hopefully bring you guys on. So thanks, pal, for chatting through it today.
Hey, pal, I appreciate your time and good conversations as always.
Yeah, it's been great, pal. So we'll talk soon. And
thank you for being a pal. That's in the work.
Yeah, jingles are in the work. We'll have that coming to you guys soon. But till next time, thanks, pal.
Peace. Thanks, pal. All right, 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, welcome to Pentool Pals. My name is Canvas Cam from Canvas Design Company.
And I'm Cole from Cole F Design. Thanks so much for coming and joining us. We are a new podcast and a friendly podcast between two graphic designers. We're really stoked to we're graphic designers in the industry who have day-to-day knowledge on what it's fuck this, Cam.